So here's something that just landed, and honestly, it's the kind of thing that makes you stop mid-scroll and go, wait, what? February 7th, 2026. A former royal constitutional advisor goes on live television and drops this bombshell: if what we're seeing is real, if these documents check out, then everything we thought we knew about the Windsor succession might be completely upside down. Let me paint you a picture. There's this financial report that's been making the rounds, and it's not your typical paperwork. We're talking about a $500,000 wire transfer from some Delaware shell company that apparently traces back to Meghan Markle. And where did that money go? A private fertility clinic tucked away in northern Mexico. The date? May 1st, 2019. Ring any bells? That's literally 5 days before the world heard about baby Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor arriving on the scene. Now, this isn't just some random accusation floating around the internet. Prince William himself apparently ordered an internal investigation. The palace actually confirmed it. They're looking into claims that Meghan might have misrepresented how both of her children came into this world. And when you start digging into the evidence, things get really interesting really fast. People have been side-eyeing Meghan's pregnancy story for years, right? The whole situation raised eyebrows from the start. Her baby bump seemed to change sizes in weird ways. The royal medical team was nowhere to be found. Traditional customs got tossed out the window. But now there's actual documentation backing up what skeptics have been whispering about. Financial records, medical papers, photographs that don't quite add up. And then there's this contract from a Mexican facility called Centro de Maternidad, listing services like egg donation cycles, surrogacy coordination, and get this, something called a Level 1 anonymity protocol. Basically, total identity lockdown. The kicker? Meghan's electronic signature is right there on the documents. Not a fake name, not some assistant signing on her behalf. Her actual name, time-stamped and verified through blockchain analysis. That's not something you can easily fake or explain away. Remember that iconic photo? Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, baby Archie, all smiles at Windsor Castle. That image was everywhere. Magazines called it a turning point for the monarchy, proof that the royal family was embracing change. Well, turns out that photograph might be the smoking gun nobody expected. William's team brought in forensic experts, the kind who analyze pixels and light patterns for a living. And what they found is wild. The lighting on Meghan and the baby doesn't match what's hitting the Queen and Prince Philip. It's like two different light sources in one frame, which physically shouldn't be possible if everyone's actually standing in the same room. The experts ran geometric tracking, analyzed pixel noise, the whole 9 yards. Their conclusion? Meghan and the child were digitally inserted after the original photo of the Queen and Prince Philip was taken. It's a composite image passed off as the real deal. And if you look closely at the Queen's face, something's off. Her eyes aren't focused on the baby. She's staring into space like she's looking at something that wasn't there. When the picture was snapped, that's when this stops being about family drama and starts becoming historical fraud. Here's where it gets even messier. Archie's birth certificate was changed about a month after he was born. They removed Meghan's full name, Rachel Meghan Markle, and replaced it with just her title, Her Highness, Duchess of Sussex. On the surface, maybe that seems like a minor detail, something symbolic. But lawyers who specialize in international surrogacy cases will tell you that's exactly the kind of alteration you see when someone's trying to hide who the egg donor or surrogate mother actually is. It makes it way harder for the biological parent to claim any legal rights to the child down the line. Neither of Catherine's kids had their certificates altered this way. Princess Diana's children didn't either. So why did Meghan do it? That question is sitting at the center of a constitutional crisis right now, and William isn't letting it slide. When all this evidence started piling up, William apparently called together what people inside the palace are now referring to as black room meetings. No phones, no press, no emotional outbursts. Just cold, hard facts laid out on the table. Because this isn't just about hurt feelings or family feuds anymore. This is about the integrity of the entire monarchy. William's the future king. He's got a responsibility to protect the royal bloodline, to make sure nobody games the system. A child placed in the line of succession through deception doesn't just damage the family's reputation, it threatens the legitimacy of the crown itself. According to people close to him, William told his staff point-blank, "We owe the British people the truth. Feelings can't override the principle of succession." As of February 7th, Meghan hadn't made any official statement about these allegations. People in her circle say she thinks the monarchy is retaliating because she refused to come back into the royal fold or raise her kids according to their rules. In some informal conversations that leaked out, Meghan apparently kept saying she was just protecting her children. She believed the royal family would treat her mixed-race kids as second-class heirs, that Britain wasn't the right environment for raising emotionally independent children, but critics aren't buying it. Legal experts are pointing to a pattern here. She wouldn't let royal doctors do prenatal exams. She was hesitant about Harry being involved in ultrasounds. Everything about where the birth happened was kept secret. And there's been this consistent media strategy designed to keep anyone from asking too many questions independently. Now Harry's supposedly trying to find his way back into royal life, mainly for the sake of Archie and Lilibet. But this scandal might blow that chance completely. What started as a family argument has turned into a constitutional blockade. Multiple sources inside the Privy Council are saying that based on current evidence, neither Archie nor Lilibet will get royal privileges, titles, or even the right to live on royal properties, unless there's direct, verifiable proof they're actually part of the Windsor bloodline. The door isn't completely closed for Harry, but the price tag is steep. Total cooperation, full disclosure, and complete separation from Meghan Markle. That's what it would take. Let's go back to that Windsor Castle photo for a second, because this is where things really unravel. When it was first released days after Archie's birth in May 2019, every newspaper ran it with headlines about a new era beginning, the monarchy embracing modernity. 7 years later, that same image is projected on a wall inside Kensington Palace's crisis bunker, while an MI5 digital forensics expert points a laser at it. The analyst's voice is tense as he tells William to focus on the Queen's eye line. According to their spatial light reconstruction and angle mapping, Her Majesty isn't actually looking at the child. William's already seen the data, so he doesn't react. But the analyst keeps going. The light hitting the Queen's shoulder comes from a window on the left, which matches Windsor's architecture perfectly. But the light on the baby? That's artificial, overhead, diffused. Studio lighting. On screen, 2 different light layers flash red and green, one natural, one manufactured. And the expert says flat out, these can't exist in the same physical space. This isn't just a touched-up photo, it's a digital fabrication. Meghan and the baby were added after the original shot of the Queen and Prince Philip. The room goes dead silent. You have to understand what that moment means to really get the weight of it. For the royal family, appearances matter, sure. But weaponizing the Queen's image, using her legacy to legitimize something she might not have even known about, that crosses a line you don't come back from. That evening, February 1st, 2026, William went back to his private office and called his father. People confirmed the conversation lasted exactly 14 minutes. Charles was reserved but firm. According to someone close to the situation, the king said something like, "Do what you have to do, but understand that once you pull this thread, you can't stitch it back together." William made his choice. The egg donor evidence would be compiled, sealed, and reviewed not by staff but by the Privy Council's Constitutional Committee. This wasn't a family matter anymore. This was state business. For the royal family, Queen Elizabeth wasn't just a grandmother. She represented duty, tradition, continuity. Seeing her image potentially used without her knowledge to publicly endorse a fake bloodline, that wasn't manipulation. In William's eyes, it was desecration. A palace official put it bluntly, this wasn't about optics. It was about turning the crown into a shield to legitimize something the monarchy was never supposed to question. That photo made it into the official royal archive. It appeared on currency, in Commonwealth educational materials. Its use gave legitimacy not just to the child, but to Meghan's entire story. And that's when William started going back through every piece of documentation from Archie's birth. Press releases, hospital protocols, even that golden announcement frame that's supposed to go outside Buckingham Palace. Except with Archie, there wasn't one. Unlike with Prince George, Princess Charlotte, or Prince Louis, there was no formal medical bulletin from the royal obstetrician, no signature from Sir Marcus Setchell, the senior physician who'd delivered royal babies for 3 decades. At the time, everyone chalked it up to privacy concerns. Looking back now, it looks like containment. William flagged that omission right away. He compared it to his own children's records. Everything complete, signed, published in the court circular within 12 hours. With Archie, nothing. Then came the real shock. Harry's memoir, Spare. William ordered a legal review of the sections where Harry describes the birth, bouncing on a yoga ball after getting an epidural, eating chicken within hours. No pain, just love and joy. Medical experts were unanimous. One former lead obstetrician at St. Mary's said it plainly impossible. If Meghan received a standard epidural, her legs would have been immobile for 4 to 6 hours minimum. There's no way she could bounce around or walk, let alone carry a child unassisted. One misremembered detail? Fine, people forget. But when the photo evidence, financial records, and birth inconsistencies all point in the same direction, ignoring it stops being an option. The monarchy isn't sentimental. It's a legal and symbolic fortress. Succession is written into law. Children in line for the throne have to be born from a legitimate royal marriage under confirmed lineage recognized by both royal and state instruments. Without confirmation of maternity, Archie and Lilibet can't be acknowledged as heirs. Not now, not ever. On February 2, 2026, William sent a confidential memo to the Privy Council. The message was clear. The Crown can't recognize children whose origins can't be legally and medically proven. The silence has gone on too long. We have to act. The Council agreed to reconvene for a formal vote on February 10th. And the question haunting Buckingham Palace isn't just whether Meghan lied. It's this: if she did, how long have we known, and who else chose silence over scandal? The monarchy has faced divorce, abdication, even treason. But never this. Never the possibility that 2 children welcomed as royal blood might have never actually been born into the Windsor line. Now, if Archie's birth raised questions, Lilibet's birth completely removed all doubt. An anonymous palace intelligence advisor said it plainly in February 2026. While the investigation into Archie sent shockwaves through the monarchy, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor's case brought William's task force to a stark, irreversible conclusion. Unlike Archie, who was at least nominally born on British soil, Lilibet's entire arrival happened off the radar, off the island, off the grid, far beyond any royal oversight. Officially born June 4, 2021, at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in California. Lilibet's birth announcement came through a carefully worded public statement from the Sussexes. But for anyone watching royal protocol, something immediately felt wrong. No gold-framed notice at Buckingham Palace gates, no official medical confirmation from royal doctors, no photographs leaving the hospital, no witnesses beyond Meghan, Harry, and private medical staff bound by non-disclosure agreements. And most telling, no christening. Not then, not ever. In the entire history of the British monarchy, no child in the line of succession has been acknowledged without a formal baptism under the Church of England, usually attended by senior royals and officiated by an archbishop. The Sussexes later claimed Lilibet's ceremony happened privately at home. No photos released, no clergy named. When British media contacted the church in late 2023 asking if any ceremony was formally recorded, they declined to comment. That silence became the focal point of William's latest inquiry. After months of internal deliberation, William and his advisors adopted what's now being called the ice wall, a deliberate policy of absolute non-recognition. Unlike previous royal controversies that sparked public rebuttals or damage control, the palace made a calculated choice to say nothing. No denial, no acknowledgement. Just silence. Behind closed doors, though, that silence was anything but passive. According to leaked correspondence reviewed by investigative reporters, Meghan's legal team issued multiple requests for the palace to publicly recognize Lilibet as a princess on the official royal website, confirm her place in succession, and approve a formal portrait for media release. All three requests were ignored. The effect was brutal. Without royal recognition, Lilibet exists in a constitutional gray zone. Biologically claimed, institutionally unacknowledged. For someone as media-savvy as Meghan, this was worse than rejection. It was erasure. On June 4, 2025, Lilibet's 4th birthday, Meghan tried a PR counterstrike. A video was released exclusively to a major U.S. outlet showing Lilibet laughing and playing in the family's Montecito garden, surrounded by balloons and purple jacaranda flowers. The footage was warm, polished, designed to evoke both maternal love and royal lineage. The caption read, "Celebrating our California princess." Within hours, it became the most analyzed video on the internet. Botanists and gardeners quickly spotted a fatal flaw. In Santa Barbara, Jacaranda trees only blew from late April to early June, peaking in May. By June 4th, most petals have already fallen. Yet in the video, the trees were in full bloom. Worse, analysis of solar angles revealed the sunlight hit from a northeast trajectory common in spring mornings, not early summer afternoons. Meteorological data from the National Weather Service confirmed overcast skies on the morning of June 4th. The conclusion was undeniable. The video wasn't filmed on her birthday. It had either been staged weeks earlier or repurposed from a previous shoot. For a woman fighting for recognition of her child's title, this slip was catastrophic. People started asking, why does Meghan need to manufacture moments if the birth and child are real? Investigators sought verification from Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, requesting even a redacted version of the birth certificate or delivery record. The hospital refused to confirm or deny anything, citing patient privacy. A former employee, speaking anonymously, recalled seeing Meghan only briefly and noted that the actual delivery team wasn't from their regular roster. The attending physician was reportedly imported, and the delivery room was sealed by private security. Even more alarming, Prince Harry himself apparently didn't witness the actual delivery. According to someone close to the Royal Intelligence Unit, Harry was asked to leave the room for a special medical procedure and came back after the baby had already been cleaned and wrapped. A pattern emerged, disturbingly similar to Archie's alleged birth: off-site location, restricted access, absence of verified witnesses, inconsistencies in maternal recovery stories under current royal statute. TES and Privy Council precedent: children born outside verified royal lineage can't inherit titles or positions in succession unless certain conditions are met. A senior royal has to witness the birth. The church formally baptizes the child under Anglican rite. Medical records get confirmed by UK health authorities. Lilibet meets none of those conditions. On February 3, 2026, Williams submitted a sealed report to King Charles and the Privy Council with his recommendation: don't recognize Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor as a royal heir or princess until independent verification is secured. The report, insiders say, included the Jacaranda video analysis, metadata from hospital emails, and digital forensics from the surrogacy investigation. In response to the growing media silence from the palace, Meghan scheduled a televised sit-down with a prominent American journalist, set to air February 9th. Early teasers revealed she'd accused the monarchy of erasing her children out of fear of their skin color. But analysts noted she still hadn't released any unedited documents proving her pregnancies, medical treatments, or even the dates of her children's births. In the eyes of the Crown, the burden of proof remains unfulfilled. And until it is, Lilibet Diana remains a ghost. Biological, legal, and royal. A Crown legal advisor put it simply in February 2026, titles aren't birthrights. They're earned by blood, law, and duty. As the palace tightens its silence and digital forensics continue unraveling Meghan Markle's carefully curated narrative, the focus has shifted to the unavoidable legal question: do Archie and Lilibet have any claim to royal privilege at all? The answer, according to constitutional scholars and Privy Council members, is rapidly solidifying into a firm no. The British monarchy operates under a complex intersection of tradition, religious ritual, and state legislation. For a child to be formally acknowledged as a prince or princess, several key conditions must be met. Verified lineage. A direct, documented biological link to the royal bloodline is mandatory, typically including signed confirmation by royal obstetricians and hospital documentation recognized by the Crown Royal Birth Protocol. The birth must be declared through official channels, including a framed notice at palace gates and filing in the court circular. Anglican baptism, a public christening under the Church of England, officiated by a bishop, is required for full inclusion in the line of succession. Crown consent. Under the 2013 Succession to the Crown Act, only the top 6 individuals in line must receive the monarch's explicit approval for major life events, including naming and marriage. Archie and Lilibet meet none of these criteria. Their births were undocumented, within royal channels, baptisms unverified, bloodline now under legal suspicion. The absence of royal signatures and independent medical witnesses has rendered both children unconfirmable as heirs under Windsor law. Some people have pointed to Queen Camilla's children, Tom and Laura, who've participated in occasional royal functions. But that comparison falls apart under scrutiny. Camilla's children, born from a previous marriage, have never claimed royal status. They're not in the line of succession, have no titles, aren't permitted to attend state function. Royal tours or ceremonial events like Trooping the Color. Their appearance at family gatherings, weddings, funerals, garden parties is symbolic, not constitutional. They're treated as extended family, not royal instruments. Under current guidance, Archie and Lilibet would fall into a lesser category than even Camilla's children, since their maternal lineage is being legally contested, and their father, Prince Harry, has already been removed from the active line of inheritance by formal order from King Charles in late 2025. Despite being excluded from succession and stripped of privileges, Harry retains legal custody under both US and UK family law. However, this only entitles them to personal guardianship, not inheritance or institutional recognition. Key limitations now facing Archie and Lilibet: no residence rights on royal properties including Clarence House, Kensington Palace, or Windsor Estate. No access to the Royal Collection Trust or sovereign grant. No entitlement to state-funded protection or ceremonial duty. No claim to HRH styles regardless of self-use in the U.S. They're legally speaking private citizens with no binding affiliation to the Crown unless extraordinary verification is provided, which thus far Meghan Markle has refused to cooperate with. Sources close to William confirm the Prince of Wales has already informed royal secretaries to exclude the Sussex children from all official documentation, internal family planning, and ceremonial seating charts for upcoming events. A senior aide said it plainly: "This isn't vengeance, it's containment." Unless Meghan publicly submits DNA evidence or official medical records to a third party, Crow, an appointed physician, the palace has made clear the case is closed. A royal historian put it best in February 2026. "You don't defeat a royal institution with a tantrum on camera." While Buckingham Palace has enforced strict silence, Meghan Markle has weaponized noise, carefully curated noise. Her strategy is clear: isolate, deflect, and dominate the narrative before the Crown can respond. Yet with every media appearance, every emotional soundbite, her campaign is unraveling. Not because the palace fought back, but because they haven't. In the days following William's silent rejection of Lilibet's royal status, Meghan sat for an exclusive pre-recorded interview with a major U.S. network. Set against a garden backdrop blooming with symbolism, white roses for innocence, lavender for motherhood, wearing her signature crisp white dress, she wept on cue. "They refuse to recognize my daughter because of the color of her skin," she said, voice trembling. "They're erasing her existence. My children are being punished because I spoke the truth." The media moment was textbook Markle. Vulnerability framed as moral superiority, a soft-spoken attack wrapped in maternal pain. But something was different this time. The public didn't bite. Social media exploded not with sympathy but scrutiny. Thousands questioned why Meghan continued withholding simple medical documentation that could settle the lineage debate once and for all. Even moderate outlets, once cautious in coverage, began asking, If transparency proves innocence, why avoid it? At the heart of this royal standoff is tactical brilliance few foresaw: William's refusal to engage. Palace sources confirm he received direct advice from several crisis PR consultants, urging a rebuttal. He declined. Every time Meghan speaks, she moves deeper into her own narrative pit, one royal aide said. William understood that better than anyone. Let her speak. Let the world compare words to evidence. By choosing not to contest her claims publicly, William transformed her campaign into a monologue and stripped it of legitimacy. A story with no opposition becomes performance, not conflict. In an effort to shift attention, Meghan launched public appearances across California and New York in early February, meeting with school children, appearing at women's conferences, granting access to behind-the-scenes footage with Lilibet. But insiders noticed a change. Archie was nowhere to be seen. The absence, once dismissed as privacy, now drew suspicion. Where was the boy she fought so hard to defend? Why only footage of a toddler daughter carefully posed in gardens or kitchens? A viral tweet captured the mood. Meghan's playing chess with invisible pieces and the board is melting. As pressure mounted, fractures appeared in Meghan's team. Her longtime legal advisor, Sandra Lay, quietly resigned February 4th after reportedly clashing over handling of birth documentation and legal threats against British media. Two Archewell staffers anonymously confirmed to a royal reporter that Meghan refused to let them verify any original medical files related to her children, even for internal audits. An executive from a U.S. publishing house, speaking off record, revealed Meghan had already prepared a second memoir titled Mother of the Exiles, but it had been pulled from the spring release calendar due to timeline concerns. With each unraveling thread, the image of a calm, targeted mother was being replaced by that of a media operator, cornered by her own mythology. Meanwhile, Prince Harry has reportedly grown distant, even physically, amid the fallout. Multiple British outlets confirm he's no longer residing full-time in Montecito. Sources close to a royal military charity with which Harry remains quietly affiliated claim he's been spotted alone in London pubs during recent brief visits, appearing lost, dazed, burdened. His most trusted military friend reportedly sent him the final proof from William's investigation: the Mexican surrogacy contract with Meghan's digital signature. Harry hasn't commented publicly since, but whispers from inside the palace suggest William offered him one last path forward: return alone. Bring the children. Leave the lies behind. The offer expires with the conclusion of the Privy Council's upcoming vote. In the end, Meghan's doctrine is one of resistance. Refuse the standards of tradition, weaponize identity, frame any institutional silence as moral failure. But the institution she's battling has endured for 1,000 years by understanding something Meghan never did. You can't force yourself into history by shouting over it. Prince William said it clearly in Privy Council remarks February 7, 2026. We're not casting out a brother. We're protecting a throne. The final blow didn't come in a press release or televised address. It came in a sealed envelope delivered to the Lord Chamberlain at 10 a.m. on February 7, 2026, exactly 1 hour before the Privy Council convened behind locked doors at St. James's Palace. Inside were 3 items: a certified copy of the surrogacy contract from the Mexican clinic bearing Meghan Markle's digital signature, a notarized forensic report confirming photo manipulation in the Windsor baby photo, a recommendation from Prince William as heir to the throne to formally sever all institutional recognition of Archie and Lilibet. The council deliberated for 90 minutes. At precisely 12:32 p.m., a royal aide emerged with the verdict: Archie and Lilibet are no longer considered royal descendants under the laws of succession and recognition. Though not stripped of his legal status as father under UK or US law, Prince Harry is now in effect a royal in exile with no heirs recognized by the crown. His wife's actions, whether through deception or omission, have nullified his children's standing within the House of Windsor. The final opportunity to reintegrate, offered quietly by William, required full cooperation, separation from Meghan, and independent DNA verification. Harry failed to respond before the February 7th deadline. Now, even if he changes his mind, the door is shut. That afternoon, King Charles appeared briefly on the balcony of Buckingham Palace alongside Prince William, Princess Catherine, and their 3 children. It wasn't labeled a statement, but it was. No mention of Harry, no mention of Meghan, no words at all. Just lineage, just presence, just the future of the crown made visible. Insiders say Charles intends to introduce new legislation, the Succession Integrity Act, to codify that all royal heirs must be verified through documentation, baptism, and constitutional review. A move designed not to punish the past, but to shield the future. That same night, Meghan appeared on live television for what her team called the mother's response. She wept. She denied the allegations. She blamed racism, elitism, the monarchy. But she showed no documentation, no birth certificate, no forensic rebuttal. Only words. By midnight, the hashtag #NoMoreLies had overtaken Stand With Meghan on global social platforms. Even in Hollywood, the mood was shifting. Brands paused partnerships. Netflix quietly pulled an upcoming special. Dior made no comment. Harry now lives in limbo. Legally tied to children the monarchy won't recognize. Emotionally tied to a woman he may no longer trust. Historically tethered to a family he tried to love but ultimately betrayed. Archie and Lilibet remain American citizens, free to live as they choose. But their royal status is gone, their titles revoked, their recognition erased. And the throne? The throne endures. So there you have it. A story that started with whispers and suspicion has now become a full-blown constitutional crisis. Whether you believe Meghan was protecting her children or manipulating the system, one thing is crystal clear: the monarchy isn't playing games when it comes to bloodline and legitimacy. William made his move, the Privy Council backed him up, and now the world watches to see what Harry does next. If this whole saga taught us anything, it's that you can't outmaneuver an institution that's survived 1,000 years by staying quiet and letting the facts speak for themselves. The crown doesn't need to shout, it just needs to stand. If you found this deep dive as wild as I did, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more royal drama breakdowns because, trust me, this story's far from over. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Did Meghan go too far, or is the monarchy being unreasonable? I'll see you in the next one.